So I've cleaned my glasses with rubbing alcohol after I tape my pattern in place. You always want to do that before painting because you've handled the glass and put your fingers all over it and got oils on it. So what we're going to do is I'm going to use a number 2 round glass brush, and I'm going to paint the black around the eye. So this is my black around the eye. Now if I go in too far, I can come back and kind of pull it back and clean it out. Now because I've done my black and I'm letting it dry before I recoat again, well, I actually gave it a dry, so I'm going to go ahead and do the white in the meantime, because I'll have to do a few coats on white and a few coats on black. So the white is the section around the eye. And again, it's over here. I'm not worried about the little tiny markings that come out. That doesn't matter. We will be doing those with our rake and our liner. But for now, we just want to block in the white sections. So I'm going to go around the eye and fill in the white. I kind of forgot, because I wasn't thinking of my fur right now, but we're going to tape off the bottom and top of our glass. So we go along with the skinny tape, and I use the skinny tape because it bends. It'll curve with your glass. The flat tape does not do such a good job with it. So I'm going to do there. And I'm going to go along the top as well. This way, when we do our fur, you're going to pull out past the line, but you're not really going to worry about it. So I put this tape on, the skinny tape on first. And the reason I asked for skinny tape and regular tape was this way. It doesn't matter if it bends properly with it. See how it'll go over it a bit? Yeah. So we'll go all the way along with our tape and have the fat tape. So this way, when I'm pulling my fur, it doesn't matter how high I pull it. It's going to be okay. We're covering everything with this mask. So there's that side, and I'm going to do the bottom too. And I should have a clunking free zone, but I don't. So you hear the glasses clunking into each other. Make sure that you're keeping it on or below your skinny tape. I am not going to tape at the ends because we will be pulling the fur off jagged at the ends. So right now, there. You can do this beforehand or you can do it after we've done the black and white. It makes no difference. It's probably easier to do ahead of time. All right, so that's your mission. That's the taping. So what we're going to do, I'm going to zoom in a bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our black, and we're going to go over all of these. I'm using my square glass brush rake, my 1/4 inch, and I'm going to come in here with my rake, and I'm going to pull in these little different directions here. So just all the little, yeah, just where the black markings are. So we're going to pull all these, and you'll see little rake marks from them. If you don't panic about it. We're coming in with our liner in the very end and fixing different things, adding more. So this is where the tape helps, because you can just pull the stroke. You don't have to worry that it's not going exactly where you want. Little tiny ones, I would just kind of use the corner of my brush, come in there. And then, of course, you're using your picture after to see where you're going to go in with white ones. So there's quite a few, and you're gonna see through these right now. So we do these, we dry it, and then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna do the white ones. You're following your picture, so you can see that this section is white. Like it's like I've drawn the little pieces there. So you see this is gonna be white, this is gonna be white. It doesn't mean all what's left in the background is white. Okay, so you look at your colored picture and you will be able to see what is white. And then from there, we'll do the white ones, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how to add the colored fur. Okay, so get the black and the white done on.
How many coats do we put on?
Put on one right now, then go to do the white.
Okay.
And then come back, you'll come back after and keep going. But for now, one. So I've got the black spots on, and I'm going to take and follow my photo, and I'm going to put on the white. Now you're not concerned if the white leans right into the black. You follow your photo, and there are not a lot of white patches. There's more of the colored. You can see the marking that's in here. And we're up here. Over here, there's one. And if you do one that you put white there and it really wasn't white, it isn't a big deal. You're going to go ahead afterwards, and we're going to use our liner, and we're going to put in some nice fur colors and stuff in there. So you're not overly concerned. And absolutely no two cats have the same. So you're not, if you put white in a spot that isn't white in my picture, it doesn't mean it can't be white on your cat. All right. We're going to add the fur colors, and we're going to start with
medium.
Yeah, so we're going to start with our medium fur mix, and that's going to go into basically, every area that's left. And so you're going to get it on the black fur. You're not concerned about that. We're going to be touching things up later. So right now, our job is to put in what we're calling our medium fur mix. So we will do 2 coats of this at least. You'll allow it to dry. We'll go all the way around. And you can see already he's starting to have a little bit of a tiger look. He's going to go through an ugly stage. Everything that you paint, everything has that, I don't know if this is working thing, but it all comes together with the fine details in the end. So no concerns.
So you kind of put it where the clear glass where you haven't painted before.
Right.
Okay.
So,
but you can overlap.
Yes. Yeah, you can overlap. We can have and we don't want our end to end just plain. We want it to end uneven and jagged. So it's just uneven and jagged. And if you pulled it further than you want, don't worry. You can always say, well, I'm either scratching a bit of that off, or you can choose to go ahead and put in a little more black with it and extend it out further. So it's just a case of basically filling it in now. And we go through and do that. So I've done the other glass, and you can see how he looks with the one coat, but look at what happens, how the difference once it gets a second coat on there. You really do see the fur color. And our black spots show for us, so when we do our cleanup edges next class, or part 2 of the video, you'll see how the black is easy for us to find, and we will pull our black back through. So right now, what I want you to see, I'm going as quick as I can here so that I can do this. And then what we're going to do is pull a little of the dark. We are talking a little of the dark. It's not a lot. I'm just going to come through. Do you see it's not everywhere? We're just going to, and you can kind of choose where. I'm not pulling a full block, if we'll call it, of the dark. We're just going to have a little of the dark throughout. And it's just to tint a bit. And then once we've got those in there, we're going to finish with a tiny bit of the light. And you can see it in your colored photo. Your light is not a lot. And we just lightly come through and scratch in with
And
some
just do
light.
one coat of that?
Yep, it's just one.
Okay.
One of the dark and one of the light.
And one of the medium?
No, you have two of the medium.
Okay.
And then you'll do your base coating of your eyes. And when you pull out your pattern afterwards, once you base coat your eyes, and you pull out your pattern, you're going to see where you see through.
Oh, yeah, where you missed.
And you'll see that, because it's hard to tell. And you'll see where you've missed when we pull out our pattern before part 2. And we will touch that up when we're redoing our blacks. All right, so we will continue after base coating the eyes. So we're going to take a small 1/8, and if you don't have one, you can just use your liner. We're going to use the liner as well. And what we're going to do here, you can see where your black lines are. We're just going to come back and bring those black markings back to the front. And they don't have to be exactly what they were. The most likely easiest thing to follow, even other than your photo, is your line drawing. You know how it has the black marks on them? So that's an easy one to follow as well. So we're going to be pulling these little black marks. And they go into the white. Do you see how I'm going into the white? We will use our liner and pull some white ones back afterwards. And so we'll go through here. You don't look that this isn't solidly coated yet. Somebody didn't do their prep work. So I'll just come up here, and we create the look like if you're looking at the front of your guy, he almost has like lines that come down, that connect. You see how that just follows its way down? So you're gonna just come in here, and we're gonna add these black little lines, and we'll pull some later with our liner just to get some defined fine ones. So what I mean by that, and I'll just come over here and do a few more. You can see them through my glass, and you can tip your glass and look inside as well, because you'll see where you originally had them. But what I mean by the liner is I can take my liner and I can pull just little tiny fine lines off, just little, so that they're not quite the same as the shape of my rake was, so I don't end up with complete straight little lines. We want to have some that come off a little bit heavier, and they might come, say, back more on one side and a little bit more on the other. So do you see how that changes it a bit? So we'll just come through here, and we're going to add these and make the markings to go up and all the way around the face. So again, you may find it easier, whoops, to look at this as your reference. So you can see how dark the markings are here. So we can come in here and really, you know, bring those in and mimic what you see on here as your dark marks. So you're going to go ahead with that. We're going to make sure that they're nice and solid, and that's the other part that I'll do with the liner. I want it very heavy in the middle of these lines. They can come off scratchy at the edge, but we really want to see that dark, solid black. All right? Okay, that's your mission. So you have to be stopped before you start. Okay, so we are referring to our photos, and you can see how the fur is a lot lighter when you're looking up the photo. So I'm going to take some of my regular fur color, my base coat fur color, and I'm going to take some of my highlight fur color. I'm just going to brush mix and pick them both on the palette, and I'll just come in here in a few spots, and I'll pull some of this fur a little this way, a little that way. Just have a few coming down into where I've added my black. So you see that light. Now I'm going to pick up just a bit more of the highlight. Everything's going to depend on how dark your fur was underneath there as to what you need to show up. Do you see how this adding a little bit more of my highlight into here? So this makes it look like some of this fur is overlapping the dark fur, going different directions as well. The fur on the front of the nose kind of just tends to head a little bit this way, a little bit that way. So what I'm doing is just kind of messing up a little of our black edge. I'm going to put a little tiny bit more. That's not too bad. And then with our white, I can use my rake if I want, and you can see the direction that this is pulled. It just kind of overlaps into the black. Do you see how that gives me some tiny fine fur? And if I feel like I'm not getting fine enough lines, I can come in with my liner after. I think I might just kind of soften up the edge that I've got on that white up there too. But we will pull this fur off so that it is going to give us that nice wispy edge. And then I'm going to do the same thing. It's always easier to pull towards yourself. Okay, I got to flatten that out now. I'm a brush abuser, so you can see how that is in tough shape. So if I pull too much there, I'll take my liner and I'm going to come back with my black, and I can just thin that back out. So by that, I just take the liner. You see how if I come back, I can thin this back up. So that it's not quite so crazy. All right, that's our mission. So I've mixed 1-to-1 my highlight flesh and my green eye mix. And I'm going to come through and I'm going to pull little lines throughout the green section in my eye. So we will go all the way through and do that.
Just out from the pupil.
Correct. Now I'm going to just touch up my pupil because I got a little bit crazy. And I'm going to dry this so that I can show you the next step. I'm going to take and I'm going to add a tiny bit of white to some of this, we'll call it greeny yellow mix. So it's just a little bit of white to highlight. And I'm going to float along the bottom of that eye. I don't want it up that high. I used my 1/4 inch and I should have used a 6 or a 4. Now we're going to take and we're going to float with not burnt umber, sorry, here I am in regular paint colors, with our brown. And I'm going to float around the bottom half, let's say.
On the colored part.
I'm floating all the way around the bottom half of my pupil. Paint towards the pupil and my water out. So it kind of creeps out that way, right? Now I can pick up some of on my liner, just a little of that, and give a little highlight. We're going to mix a little black and white to make a medium gray. So when I say a medium gray, we're kind of talking like neutral gray, between neutral gray, charcoal gray, any of that. And you can see in your colored picture that we've got a little of that gray there. We have a little of it here. And a line coming down like so. And then we also have a little brown right in the tear duct area. And it's visible and it's not. It's just a little bit of brown in that tear duct area. I'm gonna fix here where I came off with my float. There, re-black that. We are going to shade black along the top of the eye. And again, I'm going to use my 1/4 inch, but if you have a 6 or a 4, that might be your preference. So we shade across there. So do you see how that tones the whole eye down? It might be a little shiny there for you to see it, but it does make quite a, I think I'll come a little lower there, does make quite a difference. And then we're going to add our highlight. Now our highlight, I'm actually going to thin down the white so that it's not going to be stark and bold. And we're going to just add a highlight here and a little dot here. And I am going to blot with my finger so that it's not bright, bright, bright. Okay? That one could be a bit bigger. So that's my highlight. How's that look? Okay, so we'll go and we'll do that. So I've got to tell you guys. So we're going to thin down black, and I'm going to pull the black lashes. And do you see that they come gently over that green section? Now we've shaded there with black, so you don't see too much. And now we'll also have a little of them, because it's a nice thick eyelash. So they come down over his eye and they go gently up as well. So because it's black on black, we're going to pick up a little, on our dirty brush, we're going to pick up our our base coat fur, and I'm going to add a few highlight eyelashes. So you just end up seeing those basically very faint and scant. All right, so that's our eyelashes.